I've told other cave diving horror stories, but this one is by far the scariest.
Arthur Kozlowski was not a man who feared taking risks, yet he's not naive to how life-threatening his dive through the Pollonora cave would be. But would his years of experience and adequate preparation be enough to take him through this mysterious Pollonora cave? Several stairs descend to Pollonora Cave on John Nolan's farm near Kiltartan, County Galway, beneath a large beech tree. The steps bear numerous imprints, as this was the location where a community's well was previously used to fill pitchers and buckets. There was always water there, even when everywhere else was dry. The turlows and underground streams of the limestone terrain make it more prone to floods than drought. Also, the entrance of Pollonora Cave is located 196 feet north of Nolan's property, and there are thick layers of fine clay covering the cave's floor that drop from the shaft at the cave entrance. When divers disturb this area of the cave, there is a total loss of visibility, which takes a very long time to settle. The roof of the Pollonora Cave is made up of bouldered clay and loose rocks, but there are still many shafts in this cave that have not yet been found, even though several have been found and investigated to a great extent. However, there was an unfounded belief that the ground around Pollonora Cave would collapse if pressured, which caused both the villages and cave divers to fear it, but this fear was not strong enough to derail Arthur. Polish cave diver Arthur Konrad Kozlowski lived out his final years in Ireland.
Arthur spent most of his time making maps of parts of cave systems in Ireland and Spain that had not been mapped before.
In addition to his numerous cave exploration accomplishments, he reached a depth of 103 meters, setting a record for the deepest cave dive in Great Britain and Ireland. Apart from his journey to the Pollonora Cave, he made some major discoveries, including creating a record for diving the longest cave in Northern Ireland. In addition, he visited the notoriously difficult fort area, where he found Pollonara, the third deepest sump in the United Kingdom and Ireland. Arthur also completed 13 warm water dives before arriving in Ireland, making him an experienced and certified diver. In Ireland, he became quite interested in underwater diving, and due to his enthusiasm for both diving and exploration, his blog started providing readers with information about his undersea exploits, of which many of his findings have been featured in Descent magazine, as well as the journal Irish Speleology. Arthur was the first to decide to take the risk of completely exploring Pollonora Cave against all odds, but did his courage pay off? On Saturday, September 3rd, 2011, Arthur set out on his typical cave exploring excursion, traveling to Kiltartan, County Galway, Ireland, to investigate Pollonora Cave. As usual, he went in company of two of his pals, and they stayed at Tom Nolan's home. Tom was one of his many friends in Kiltartan village. He was well received and loved by Tom's family. They welcomed him with his friends, and he had a long night's rest in preparation for the next day. In the morning, it was time to explore new frontiers.
This would be a perilous endeavor, due to the numerous risks.
However, even though he had done open water diving, he was aware that floating gently in the sea was not the same as cave diving. For instance, caves feature a lot of tough and dark tight spots, but his experience would help him navigate. Besides, he had visited the cave on various occasions more than 16 times to understand it and get ready for a successful dive. Before his tragic demise, Arthur Kozlowski, a 33-year-old Polish cave diver, began his dive on Monday for what was to be his final voyage. Even though it would be a lengthy dive, he had anticipated it for the past 3 years and had prepared to succeed in it come what may. There were 2 reasons Arthur started this journey in the first place. He wanted to see if he could make a connection between the Pollonora Cave and the burned caverns, and if he succeeded, it would be Europe's largest network of underground caves. The second reason was to mark out the entire cave, and on Sunday, September 4th, 2011, he started diving on the surface of the cave. On Monday, he dived below, intending to come back after 3 hours. When they saw that he had not returned at the time he had promised, his companions speculated that he may have ventured deeper into the cave and uncharted territory. They were scared at how long his dive had taken, so they contacted rescue teams to look for him. The villagers and media personnel were all on high alert with hopes that he was okay. Consequently, the rescue teams arrived and the search for him began. Everyone aware of the situation was agitated, with several thoughts streaming through their minds. Would he survive this time, like he had survived the other times? Due to situation in the cave system, which resulted in extremely low visibility, the rescue mission was extremely dangerous and almost impossible. There were conflicting stories regarding his body's recovery, and everyone in the area became perplexed about what had happened to him. They were informed by the specialist on cave diving that he might not have made it through, although they said he might have ventured too far into the cave's lowest point, and that, even if they locate his body, they might not be able to raise it to the surface again. The rescue team continued to search the cave's multiple passageways and air pockets, but after locating substantial airspace halfway down the subterranean cave, Irish Cave Rescue Organization leader Conor McGrath anticipated finding more. "We hope that the cave has more similar airspaces and that he is in one of them because the airspace is close to the surface," Mr. McGrath stated. They had looked for Arthur assiduously for a few days without any success. Following multiple unsuccessful attempts to locate Arthur's body, the rescue team turned to the UK Dive Rescue Unit for support. Rick Stanton and John Valanthan, who were heading the British rescue squad, responded to the call, and 4 days after Arthur entered the cave, on Friday, September 9, 2021, his body was discovered late that evening. The body of Arthur was discovered at the cave's then known boundaries, 810 meters from the entrance and 52 meters below the surface of the cave. After the discovery, his body was carried halfway through the network of caves. Later, his body was brought to University Hospital Galway for a post-mortem examination. The real cause of death was never discovered, although it was attributed to drowning. Following the fact that the cause of Arthur's death was unknown, there has been a speculated mystery surrounding it. He had enough air for over 6 hours when he went for the underground cave, even though he only intended to spend 3 hours there. According to the autopsy report, it was not a lack of oxygen. Additionally, all of his equipment was still in place and fastened to his body when his body was found. What, therefore, might have killed a seasoned diver like him? Nobody can tell, but his legacy lives on. The Speleology Union of Ireland and the other diving communities where Arthur worked will always remember his great achievement. The news of his death affected the entire Kiltartan community as well. They expressed their respect for him even as they grieved his demise. A documentary titled Riders on the Storm was filmed in remembrance of him. Passion and courage can inspire a man to do great things for the good of others in science. Arthur knew the risk of diving in the Pollonora cave, yet he followed the least traveled part just to make it easier for others who would come after him. Tell me, if you were in Arthur's shoes, would you take the risk he did? What do you think would have been done to prevent the accident from happening in the first place? While you're still here, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time.